So let's talk about more efficient route creation outdoors using TAC. So to start with, we've got our imagery over here, we've got our location right there, and let's say, we're going to a waypoint that's going to be on this side of the map. Usually you would long press on here and then autofill and then type in the grid. However, for simplicity's sake, we're going to just put our waypoint right there. Okay. So we have to get from where we are here to that waypoint, where we are here to this waypoint over there. First thing I would like to do to set this up for more efficient route navigation, let's go to elevation and let's do show heat map. And this is going to show you the relative elevation of where you are. So, we can tell well, you can tell by the colors at the bottom. This is somewhat green. Where it goes red, that's the higher up it goes, and it's relative. So, if you zoom in all the way out to the map, you'll see the big red over there, but this is all green. But then when we zoom in between these two, you notice that the colors change, right? The gradient changes. So that's the first thing. So I want to pay attention to, those colors to make sure I'm not, walking straight over this hill, for example. Next, so we want to keep that on. Next, let's go to our drawing tool. And what this is I'm going to draw out some of the roads here so I don't road walk them by accident, right? So we can just simply trace, and we can do this very quickly, but we can trace and undo these roads here. We're only focusing on the roads between us and the waypoint, right? Because we want to make sure we're staying our 50 meters away from that point. So maybe over here, or do we have any more? No, that's all just brush. But then we can put another one in there. You see how this one comes in. And the shape. And there does appear to be a road there, but for time's sake, let's continue on. So what I'm going to add now is I'm going to click on this guy, and I'm going to click on this 2 o'clock position, this circle with the sun inside of it, and this is going to be a risk estimated distance. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a favorite, and I'm going to say, I can call it road walking, right? Because I don't want to be within 50 meters unless I'm crossing at an angle. And I can mark it as 50 meters, done, update, and then we can click it, and now it'll change that range, because you can change the color in here as well and stuff. And we can do enable, and now it'll create that 50-meter buffer for this road. And then we can do the same thing for this one. If you just click enable, it gives you a default setting of 0 meters because you didn't do anything to it. So you can either type in 50 meters here or just click that, and that changes it. And then you can put that in. So now we've got our buffer for that. Now we're going to actually create our route. So I'm going to go down and tack here to my routing tool. I'm going to add a route, walking, manual entry. And so I'm going to start right here, and I'm going to long press. That's my start point, right? I'm going to long press wherever I want to have a checkpoint. So that's my target. And then let's say where we want to go. Let's say we want to go here. And where's a good place to cross this road? That's going uphill on the reds. I don't really want to cross it. Let's just cross it over here. So it's my next checkpoint. There's my next checkpoint. And so we can long press. We can long press on a point to create a checkpoint. Hold on, undo, undo, undo. There we go. Checkpoint. And then we're still going uphill a little bit, but let's go. And then there we go. And then end. So now we have our different checkpoints. that we're going to be navigating to. And one helpful feature, it's more designed for aircraft, but it can also be helpful on here because it'll actually tell you as you're going, like you'll see the azimuth you need to stay to. But if we click on walking and if we change it to flying, it'll have these arrows, which is designed for flying, obviously, but it's just kind of useful because you can see on the map you're moving at 269 degrees magnetic and, well, 0.1 nautical mile. That's not as useful. But then as you get to that checkpoint, okay, from here you're going to move 332 degrees magnetic to that one. From checkpoint 2 to checkpoint 3, you're going to be moving 250 degrees magnetic. So if that's helpful, because you can use that with an actual compass, then you can pull out your compass and then you can actually use that. That will give you a very quick and easy reference to move there. We can also change the colors of the route if we want to. We can change the thickness of the lines to what we want to. We can actually change, make them dash, solid, or outlined, or whatever. So whatever you want to do that. But so now we have our different checkpoints in here, and back to us. So we can click go. And what this is going to do...
Arrived at Route 5 start point.
So...
Arrived at CP1.
So
arrived at CP2. Arrived at CP3. In 459 feet, take a slight right.
So it gives us voice commands that go to there, right? So we can change... So this is 459 feet. Well, I'm going to change that because we like to use meters and kilometers. If we click that, it changes it to kilometers and meters, so 140 meters to checkpoint 1 for my start point, right? I can also click VDO, and that will do the distance 1.8 kilometers. That is the distance to all the way to the other end of to where the checkpoint ends, right? To where the route ends. So we can go back to checkpoint, and then I want to let's change the where's our Route 5? I want to edit this. Change it back from flying to walking. Okay. And there we go. And now, again, we click on it. Let's click go. We can change that audio off if we want
off route.
And that tells us how far we're going off route and stuff. Here, this will then show take a slight right, that kind of thing. Because it's really designed more for vehicle work, but then you can also use it here. The other thing we can do for these checkpoints is, well, for the routing tools, we can go down and we can do a lot more. We can reverse it as well. But if we go to our settings down here, the little wheel, well, we can also see the elevation profile that we'll be taking. So as you can see, we're going downhill, and where that little dot is right here, that's where I'm pushing this. So it's going downhill, and we're going all the way down. So our elevation gain, we start at 1,500 foot, 58 MSL, and we go down to 1,500. So that's a gain of like 80 feet or something. That goes down there 70 feet. So that's kind of useful if you want to use that. Now, if we go down to right here, we can change a whole bunch of stuff about the checkpoints, about the navigation mode. So navigational voice cues, we can turn that off or on. Vibrate when arriving at a checkpoint. That's really useful because you have it on your chest and the whole phone just vibrates so you know you're there. Or you could turn off the voice and just keep on the vibration. Walk-in checkpoint navigation bubble radius, off-route bubble radius. This is nice. So you can change from 10 meters, like I'm obviously not going to be walking that exact line. Maybe I just want to change it to like 20 meters, for example. So that can be useful. And this is when I reach walking checkpoint navigation bubble radius. So when I get to that checkpoint, if I'm within 10 meters, then the machine will say you are at your checkpoint, right? So I can change this, let's say 20 meters. That's fine as well. And then that's okay. And remember, all these have to be attached to their specific thing. So if I'm flying or driving, right? So we can change it to the specific pieces right there. There's some other things that are nice in here, but that's pretty useful to do that kind of stuff. And so, yeah, so we say go.
Arrived at Route 5 start point. In 459 feet, take a slight right.
So why don't we try it doesn't realize. Let's see. So because I'm manually pressing the location out.
Off route.
Yeah, so it's saying I'm off route because it sees I'm away, right? So then when I long press, and let's say put it right on next to
Arrived at CP1.
arrived at
In 454 feet, turn left.
and then maybe I'll put it right here. Let's say I go off route again, which our distance is like 20 meters, right?
Off route.
It's off route. So now let's bump up to, let's say we're at the end of our walk.
You have arrived at your destination.
And then it's supposed to say that. So there we go. That's a video of how to create all this and how to use the imagery to your advantage. So instead of, if I were over here, right? And let's say I were to just Bloodhound it straight to here. And it's telling me, you know, to go through all this trash. Like I can just avoid all of this. Like the amount of time it takes for me to cut through all this brush right here, I can just move around it and avoid it and then go another route. Okay. And then I'll know where the roads are, and so I won't be caught for road walking and that kind of thing.